Hey guys, and welcome back to a new video. So today I have another Morphe eyeshadow palette review for you. I did do them in the past and I really love Morphe eyeshadow palettes. I think they're just really good value for money, and so far I've always been super happy with my eyeshadow palettes. And the other day I picked up a new one which is actually fairly new to their collection from what I've seen online. And I got the 9G Sunrise Glow palette. And I haven't used this palette before, so we're gonna use it together today and have a first impression of how the colors look. I did swatch them in the store and I absolutely fell in love with the color combination. As you can tell, I've already done the rest of my skin, so everything else is done, it's just the eyes missing. So firstly, the palette itself I think is absolutely gorgeous. I really love the kind of like dusty pink shade of it, and it's super thin as well, which makes it very nice for traveling. And these are the colors. They are kind of like muted brown, lavender, purple colors, I would say, and it does have a huge mirror down there as well, which I think is great. I love having mirrors in my eyeshadow palettes. And the palette was 22 New Zealand dollars, so super affordable, as I said. So here you can see the colors close up. We have 3 shimmer shades and 6 matte shades, and it is a mix of brownie, kind of beige, muted, and lavender pink tones. And then looking at the colors row by row, in the first row we have Morning Star, which is this kind of champagne-y color, Dawn Stunner, which is this really nice brown color, it's light brown, and First Glance, which is kind of like a grayish white tone, which I don't really have in my collection yet, so I'm quite excited about this one. And then in the second row we have Sky Bloom, which is probably my favorite color out of the whole palette, which is this really light pastel lavender color. Golden Horizon, which is this stunning kind of glittery golden shade. And then the final one is Bronze Burst, which is this kind of like camely brown shade, which I think looks really lovely as well. And then in the final row we have Glimmer Glory, which is this kind of pink glitter shade with golden undertones. And then we have New Days, which does look a little bit shimmery in the pen, but it does look matte when you apply it, and it is this dusty rose color. And then we have Stun Seeker, which is just this really dark chocolatey matte brown. So I kind of feel like we should do 2 eyeshadow looks because I don't quite know how to integrate all of these eyeshadows into one look. So I thought one eye I'm gonna do fully matte with like all of those brown shades just to see how they perform, and then I want to do another one using the lavender and the gold shade. I kind of feel like those two could work super nicely together. So I kind of want to start off with the lavender because that's the color I literally bought the palette for, so that's the one I want to start off with. So I'm gonna dip in with a fluffy brush into the lavender color. It's a little bit dusty, I would say, but most Morphe shades from my experience are a little bit dusty, just to tap it off. And I'm gonna go into the crease with that. And I feel like the lavender shade by itself might be a super lovely color just on the whole eyelid. That color blends very nicely as well. I feel like the color payoff is not too much. Let me try and put some on my finger as well. Just kind of apply it on the side here. I feel like the color payoff is not too much. I kind of wish it was a little bit more, but it does look really, really pretty. I'm going to use a smaller brush and go into this darker purpley shade here and apply this on the outer corner just a tiny bit. I also love this color. Something about the colors in this palette that just sold me. I think it's so beautiful. I'm gonna go back with the other brush and dip into the lavender color a little bit just to blend everything out. I feel like even that, just like as a matte look and a little bit of the kind of grayish color in the front, would look so lovely. Okay, and I'm gonna go in with the dark purple shade, or kind of like reddish shade again. Just run it under my eye a little bit as well. I think that already looks really, really lovely. And now I'm gonna use my finger and go into the golden shade here. I'm just gonna apply it on the center and the front part of the eye. Gonna take the brush again and just blend it in a little bit. I feel like the matte colors are actually not too pigmented. Like they are pigmented when you apply them initially, and then when you blend them out they lose a little bit of their color. I'm just gonna try to just carefully blend them. And I'm gonna go in with the purple again, so I'm kind of like building up the color as I go. Okay, so first impression is that the colors blend extremely nicely, specifically for like a reddish tone or purple tones, which are known to be a bit stiff. I think those ones do blend super nicely, but the color washes out quite easily as well when you blend it, so you do have to build it up quite a bit. But I'd rather the color blends easily and I have to build it up than putting it on and then it just like stays in place and you can't move it anymore. So I definitely prefer that over the other. Okay, next up I'm gonna go into this like champagne-y shade here, which is called Morning Star, and I'm gonna apply this under my eyebrow. Oh, I feel like that could be a really nice highlighter shade as well. Tiny bit into the inner corner as well. So I'm gonna go into the brown shade here a little bit with an angled eyeshadow brush and try to line my eye a little bit, just to give it a bit more depth, because I feel like there's some depth missing here. I'm going to use the other side, which is like a small dense brush, and just brush it out a little bit. Kind of want a soft look here, not too harsh. I'm going to clean up the edges a bit more as well. I would say that's the first eyeshadow done. I'm quite happy with how it turned out. It's just a really soft, easy, warm purple gold look. Let me put on some mascara, because I feel like you need to put on mascara to see the finished look. So this is the finished eye. I think it looks really gorgeous. It kind of gives me this sunset vibes, which I think is beautiful, and all the eyeshadows blended really nicely. So I'm very impressed with the first eyeshadows that I've used. Okay, but let's move on to the second look. As I said, I kind of want to keep it more matte on this side. So I'm going to start off with this shade here. I really wanted to try this as well. And I'm going to apply it just all over the eye. This is a base. And again, all of these eyeshadows feel super buttery, which is nice to apply. I feel like in general, Morphe is just a really good brand with like, I think the quality of the eyeshadows, I would say 90% is really, really good. Every now and then there's like an eyeshadow that doesn't work that well, but most of the time the eyeshadows perform super nicely and they are really affordable. So specifically when you want to test new colors or something a little bit out of your comfort zone, I think Morphe is just a really good brand to go to. Next up I'm going to go into this color here, which is called Dawn Stunner. I'm going to use this fluffy brush here. Just going to go in with the tip. Again, this one as well is a little bit dusty. So kind of make sure you kind of tap it off a little bit before you use it so you don't get any fallouts. And just going to apply it in the crease. I'm just going to do a super simple look. I just want to see how the colors work and how they blend. I feel like that's a really lovely color. I'm going to try and keep that one just up on the crease a bit more. So similar kind of how I used the lavender shade. Just a bit more up in the crease, and we're going to use another color in the outer corner. Okay, that color blended beautifully. I'm going to dip into this kind of like mocha color down here a little bit. Not sure how they work together, but yeah, let's see. Kind of go more on the lid. I go until like, I would say 2/3 in, and I'm probably gonna go back into like the lighter shade to kind of lighten and brighten everything up a bit more. Cool, I think that looks quite nice. Again, the color blends really easily and the color payoff is also very nice and no fallout so far. Okay, and then finally I'm gonna go into the darker brown shade, and I'm gonna use the dense brush from before. I just cleaned it a little bit, just applied a little bit on the outer corner. Okay, that color is super intense. Okay, very carefully, just kind of dab it on a little bit, and I'm gonna go back into the fluffier brush, just try to blend it in a bit, just to give the eye a little bit more depth. Yeah, the color blends really nicely as well. Sometimes you have that with darker colors that they don't blend it nice, and then you like dab it on and put it on and you try to blend it and it just doesn't move, and it's like the most annoying thing because I feel like it ruins your whole look. But that one blends quite nicely. And I feel like with brown smoky eye looks, it's all about kind of going back into the colors and like build them up and layer them on top of each other. It's really not a technique per se. I would say it's just like a lot of time, a lot of blending, and a lot of reapplying of different types of brown shades. At least that's what I find. And I'm someone, I really like just reusing the same brush. I don't have hundreds of different brushes. I just like take the brush, kind of clean it on the back of my hand so there's no color anymore, and just use it for a different color. So I'm gonna go back in with the smaller one into the kind of like light gray white shade here, and then reapply it on the front just to brighten things up a bit more. And I really barely ever do any kind of matte looks anymore. I always use some sort of shimmer. I feel like using a shimmer shade is kind of like an easy option to do an eye look, because I feel like a shimmer saves a lot of eye looks, where with a matte eye look you need to blend much more, you need to work much more. So if you want to have a quick eye look, definitely use some shimmer shades. And I'm going to use this brown shade here again on a more dense brush, and I'm going under my lower lashes. I think I go a little bit into this like more caramel, camel, whatever shade. Just kind of lay it on top a little bit. Okay, I literally used all of the colors except this pink shimmer shade here. So I know I said I'm gonna keep this look matte, but I feel like I kind of want to integrate the last shade as well now. So I'm gonna go back into the small dense brush that I have and gonna use it as like an inner corner highlighter, or kind of like inner corner pop of color, which could look quite fun. I'm just gonna apply it here. It looks nice, but I feel like the brush doesn't really pick it up enough, so let me try with the finger. I'm not sure if that's my favorite look. I think I preferred it without the pink, but it definitely is a bit of a pop of color. And as I did with the other eye, I'm gonna use the dark brown shade again on the angled brush and apply it as a liner. I really like using eyeshadows as liners because it's really hard to make any mistakes. You can kind of see the brown eyeshadow crumbles a little bit, unfortunately, but I didn't tap it off, that's probably why. I think it looks the best if you use a Q-tip afterwards. Mine's a little bit dirty because I just used it on the other eye and I didn't bring a second one. But if you just use a Q-tip and then just like clean up the edges a little bit, it makes it look so much more sharp and neat. Just like that. And then you could, in case you don't like the way your wing looks, you could just go back in with like a fluffy brush and just like brush it inwards a little bit, kind of like blend it in. And then it kind of gives you the idea of a wing, but it's not as obvious. Okay, cool. That's the second eye done. Let me quickly apply some mascara again so we can see the finished look. So this is the second eye completely finished. I really love the way it turned out. I mean, as I said, the pink is maybe not my favorite in the inner corner. I would probably skip that or change it for like a more champagne-y color. But overall, I'm super happy with it. I did clean up the under eyes with a little bit of concealer and powder again, just to kind of get rid of the mess of the brown eyeshadow. So both eyes, I think, turned out pretty nicely. I'm quite happy with all of the eyeshadows, and I'm quite impressed with myself that I managed to include all of the eyeshadows on both eyes. That is the finished eyeshadow look. What do you think of the palette? I really like it. I think the palette is stunning. Just the colors, I'm just personally in love with it. They do have quite a few different palettes with 9 shades, so I kind of want to try out a few different ones because I feel like they're so nice. Really, you can kind of hear the sheep in the background here. Actually, one thing I did want to try is use this champagne-y tone here as a highlighter. I don't have a highlighting brush, I just have this one right now, so I'm just going to squeeze it a bit. And I do have some highlighter on already, but I just wanted to see how that looks. I feel like that's a really, really nice highlighter color as well. Oh my god, look at that. I think I'm genuinely gonna use this as a highlighter. That looks really, really good. Oh my god, I love that. Could you, I wonder, use the tiniest bit, I'm gonna reuse this as like a face palette now, a tiny bit of this one, the reddish one. It's like a blush as well. There we go. I have a 2-in-1, an eyeshadow palette and a face palette. I think that's really cool. I think the colors Looks stunning. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think of the palette and what you think of the eyeshadow look. If you don't want to miss out on any upcoming videos, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and comment down below. It would really help me to grow my channel if you engage with me and engage with my videos as well. And otherwise, I hope you have a really good day and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!